So now let's move on to Notre Dame missing out on the playoff. There's been a lot of noise coming out about Notre Dame and, feuds between the ACC commissioner and stuff like that. But so the official committee reasoning is the head-to-head loss to Miami during week 1, which was 27-24. And I mean, if you dive into the stats of that game, Jeremiah Love's only game without a touchdown this season and the only game with less than 40 yards rushing. So he got shut down by that Miami defense. And I mean, obviously that's earlier in the season. And trust me, I know that Notre Dame's a totally different team. They went on to win 10 games in a row. But that just shows you how important these head-to-head matchups are. And coming down the road, like teams like Texas lost to Ohio State. If they would have beat Ohio State, they definitely would have been in the playoff. Going back to the committee rules, the committee emphasized that idle teams could shift based on the championship results. And the head of the playoff committee, Hunter Yurachek, instructed the committee to rewatch the Notre Dame-Miami game before the final rankings, which I guess eventually elevated that head-to-head as decisive, according to the committee. Yurachek denied that not having an ACC team in the playoff factored into the college football rankings, but this is the second year that it's the 12-team playoff, and people are already talking about how it should be 16 or even 20 or more. The ACC called for playoff expansion due to Notre Dame criticizing them partially. Notre Dame's athletic director, Pete Bavacqua, criticized the ACC for actively campaigning in the favor of Miami. A couple of the things that he was upset with was the ACC posting social media posts and highlighting Miami's strengths and downplaying Notre Dame's strengths. I mean, I saw this on YouTube TV, and your local cable provider that had ACC network, they were replaying the Notre Dame-Miami game like 24/7 for a few days. And apparently the ACC made graphics that targeted or took shots at Notre Dame. And the athletic director for Notre Dame, Pete Bavacqua, was not happy with that. And but he said that the ACC and Notre Dame have a permanently damaged relationship now. Just to touch on it, Notre Dame's had a scheduling agreement in the ACC since 2014, which requires the ACC to provide 5 ACC opponents yearly for them. I mean, looking back at how Notre Dame handled it, they didn't get put in the playoff, and they had a chance to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl, which is one of the higher ranked bowls of teams that aren't in the playoffs now. But one thing I want to touch on before I speak about Notre Dame opting out is when Georgia didn't make it to the playoffs in that year that Florida State was left out as well, just a few years ago, they were focused on showing the committee that they were one of the teams that should have been in the playoff that year. But I think it was an emotional decision by Notre Dame. It definitely was, because it was just a few hours after it happened that they got left out of the playoff. But so they opt out of their bowl, and the two other teams that have opted out of their bowl so far, at least, is Iowa State, who has a coaching change, and Kansas State, who has a coaching change. If you're Notre Dame, I would want to go out there and trounce whoever I played, and in that case, it would have been BYU. So if Notre Dame went out there and beat BYU really, really bad, it would have been a sign that, you know what, maybe Notre Dame should have been in this. But even if Miami loses, we don't know. I mean, we know Notre Dame is Notre Dame. At the end of the year, they ended up winning 10 games in a row. But then moving forward, lastly, replacement teams that have declined their bowl games or bowl invites is FSU and Auburn, who is going through a coaching change, and Rutgers. But so that's all we're going to have today. We're going to make some more videos, hopefully stay up to speed with some of the college football news. But we'll see you guys in a little bit.